Before we start today's show today, I want to thank our great new sponsor, MyPillow. That's right, MyPillow. They sent me one of those, Mike Lindell and the guys did, and I've been sleeping on it for a couple of weeks now, and I've never slept better. Hey, I've got a huge and busy schedule. Not only do I do the show, but we run an advertising agency. We help other podcasters with their shows throughout the country. We're constantly talking to folks, going to concerts. So my sleep is very important to me. So thanks to MyPillow. And remember, it's got a 10-year warranty guarantee, 60-day money-back guarantee. And yeah, you see MyPillow in stores like Walmart and Walgreens, but you can only get the premium pillows by calling MyPillow directly. So grab you one of those premium pillows. Call this number right here, 1-800-338-2330, 1-800-338-2330. Reference the code SGNP when you talk to them and say, hey, I want that premium pillow that Darren on SGNP has. It's that simple. They'll sell it to you, and it'll make life a whole lot better. So if you're having trouble sleeping, call MyPillow today, 1-800-338-2330. Use the code SGMP or go to their website, mypillow.com, and check them out. Hey, make sure you tell them SGNP sent you.
Welcome to SGNP with your hosts, Darren Sutherland and Jeff Steele, one of the fastest growing Christian music podcasts of its kind. Darren and Jeff discuss industry information you will not find from your local radio station or in a magazine. Sit back for the next bit and take a listen to SGNP. The fun is about to begin.
And welcome back to SGNP. Darren Sutherland and the good doctor, Jeff Steele. Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing good. It's the air conditioning's working here at the church, and I'm just actually sitting here autographing some books that we're sending out to folks. My book, But God, True Stories of Faith, Inspiration, and Encouragement. Just a little free plug in there.
There you go. You know what I thought you sounded like when you started doing that plug?
Lord, who?
One of them gospel singers that gets up at the end of the church. And 3 for $20, 5 for $60, and we've got some tie clips in the back that we'll give you for free. All right, I like the guy, and I'm not going to mention any names, but the guy that used to sell nails for $5, and then the lady that sold handkerchiefs for $50. Anyway, we've all sold a little bit of everything. Talking about sales.
Well, you have to stay on the road.
You got to. Remember what our buddy Tony Gore used to do with them Afghans?
Lord have mercy. I've never seen so many Afghans leave a product table in my life.
Hey, we got to hush about that because we got our own products coming out down the road that we're going to need people to sign up and buy, so we'll just keep that quiet for right now. What do you think?
I'm okay with that. Whatever you want to do, just tell me when to start telling them what I got, and I'll tell them.
We'll start it next week. You start listening next week, folks. We got a great new products and got some things coming out that SGMP only can provide you with great discounts, great fun, and all that kind of stuff. And thank you for supporting Southern Gospel News Podcast, the fastest growing one. I can't say the fastest, but I can say this for relatively sure. One of the fastest growing music podcasts of any type of music in the world. You can follow us on Facebook at Southern Gospel News Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter. Jeff didn't even know this. SGNP Podcast. We've got in a month over almost 5,000 members now on Facebook. And inside of about 2 days, we got a few followers on Twitter, Jeff. And you know how many downloads we're getting. So I think we're making an impact, and it's not only for us, it's for the kingdom and for gospel music and Christian music and just culture as a whole. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, you just have to get me all excited. We've got prayer meeting tonight when we're recording this, and I need to stay in a spiritual mood, so keep me there.
Hey, you know what I think's neat about our shows and what's been fun is the fact that we've been able to reach outside the box of things people normally talk about, like our last show with Shannon Fields, Facing the Giants. You know, I have noticed so many people making comments over this, so many people sharing it. You know, you go back to shows that we've done that we done on ourselves without any guests on Southern Gospel Music Radio. People are still listening to them. Grow, 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 our breakthrough show, the first show we did, the show on duos and duets. You know, even the interview shows. The great thing about podcasts, Jeff, is people can go back and listen to them on their own timetable, and that's what's beautiful. You don't have to listen just today. You can listen anytime, day or night. So that's something that's real cool about all this. And today, Jeff, it's kind of a timely show, but at the same time, podcast can't be timely, but you know what? It's a celebration time, so to speak. And we've got one of the ladies that has been very influential in the past 10 years in the gospel music world, or even longer than that. And you wrote her a #1 song not too long ago.
Well, the truth is, I have wanted to get a cut on Karen Peck's projects for years. Mm-hmm. I kept sending her songs. She kept sending them back, you know. And then finally, when she did cut one, she cut two, and it became a #1 song. One of them became a #1 song. So I'm thrilled to have Karen on the program. And, you know, as things would go, and I'm going to have to tell this because it's just exactly what happened. When we were getting ready to introduce Karen on this interview, you'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, I don't ever say a word on there because right as we were about to introduce her, there was a horrific wreck right out in front of the church. I mean, the guy flipped his SUV. He was up in the trees, and all our power went out here at the church. We lost all Wi-Fi, and I know you were trying to get a hold of me like crazy, but you had no way to know, and I had no way to tell you what had happened here. And then when I left the office, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours later, that vehicle was still up in the tree. There were still highway patrolmen and local police and sheriff's officers out here. I don't guess I've ever seen a wreck quite this bad. Apparently the guy just missed the curve, and I missed the interview. So there you go.
Only
in
Coleman, Alabama. I'm going to tell you something hilarious, though, before the interview that happened with Karen. Now, Karen, in the interview, said to us, Darren, I am a true blonde. I just say the first thing that comes on my mind, and I just talk about it. And no disrespect to Karen, that's what she said. So prior to us doing the interview, she had never done a podcast interview, I think. So her first question to me off of the air, and I'm going to laugh when I say this, and she's going to laugh when she hears this. You know what she asked me, Jeff? She said,
"What's that?"
She said, "Are there cameras involved? Because I'm sitting here right now with my hair in curlers getting ready to go to the GMA, and I can't do this interview with my hair in curlers and be on a podcast at the same time." So I had to assure her that, Karen, we were not videoing this interview. We were just talking on the interview, and no one will know in the interview that you have curlers in your hair.
I got to be honest. If we were doing it on video, we would probably be headed for jail right now because those kind of things are illegal.
For telling folks that.
That would be horrible. But
you know what I enjoyed about Karen in this interview? And we talk about a bunch of different things. We talk about everything from her days starting with the Lefevres back in the day to the day she started with the Nelons, to her friendships with Todd and Kelly, to her friendships with Rex, Mickey, Eldridge Fox. Just, you will hear a ton of names that she mentions going through this. Becky Simmons, Ed Harper, you know, so many good names, Chris White, so many people that's been influential in her life that she talks about. And, but most important, when I said, who your hero, wait till you hear who she says. And I think when you hear that, I think people will find it special. People will find it special.
Well, let's get to it.
All right, my friend. Here we go on the Kia Skype line with Karen Peck.
This is Shannon Fields from Facing the Giants, Rumors of Wars, and most recently, Order of Right. What's wrong with living right anyway?
Come see what all the smoke is about at Tony Gore's Barbecue and Grill in the heart of the Smokies, Sevierville, Tennessee. Start off with T's loaded tater chips, some great sweet tea, then have some of his famous fried chicken, a pulled or sliced pork plate, or the best barbecue ribs in the Smokies. And oh, did we mention homemade mac and cheese? And dessert lovers, it's worth the trip just for a piece of cake. Voted the best barbecue in the Smokies, Tony Gore's Barbecue and Grill in Sevierville, Tennessee. And remember, gospel music fans, you never know who you'll see while at Tony Gore's Barbecue and Grill. For more information, visit them 24/7 at TonyGore.com.
And welcome to SG&P. Darren Sutherland here. and we've got the newest member. Today we're blessed. We got the newest member and probably one of the sweetest people in the world. And if you're listening anywhere in the world, you'll know she's from the same part of the sticks I am because her voice matches mine. The newest member of the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, 2018 inductee, Karen Peck. Karen, how are you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Darren, I'm doing great, and I love that introduction. And honestly, this is a very important, grateful time in my life and in my career, and to be inducted into the Gospel Music Association Hall of Fame means so much to me. And honestly, I just kept saying, Lord, just get me to Tuesday, because this week was the induction ceremony. I just said, get me to Tuesday, that way they won't change their mind. But I just kept thinking, this cannot be happening. I mean, I am so blessed. And just a few days ago, I was driving down the road to my mom's house, on the very road that 38 years ago, I had just finished up my second year of college. And I had been praying for the Lord to, open the door for me so I can sing full time, but in the meantime, I'd stay in college, but nothing was happening. And so I remember driving down that road that I was on a few days ago, and I was praying, and I said, God, you know what? I just surrender to you. If you want me to teach school during the week and then sing on the weekends, then I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. And Darren, the very next day, I got a call from Rex Nelon that was recommended me for the job with Alphas Lefebvre, and he said, you need to go and try out, audition for Alphas Lefebvre. And the Lefebvres, if you want to sing, this will be a great experience for you. And so I went and auditioned and got the job, and I was with Alphas Lefebvre and the Lefebvres for 1 year, and 1 year to the day was a year later. It was my first night with the Rex Nelon singers. So, and I say all of that to say this, that 38 years ago, I finally surrendered. And instead of praying for my will in my life, I surrendered to the Lord and just said, God, I want your will in my life. And honestly, there are so many situations like that over the past 38 years that have been just so important in my life, and I'm just so thankful. Just very thankful that I've been able to do what I love to do.
Karen, you've lived a dream of so many folks that love gospel music and Christian music, and you've got to do so many different things. Who would you say is probably the biggest influence in your life in terms of getting you involved in gospel music and Christian music as a whole?
I have people that have really been influential in my life. I've been blessed, but I have to say my mom is my hero, because Mama recognized when I was just a little girl, just a shred of talent in, standing me up in a chair when I was 3 years old and singing in church, and it was, sang with Susan and Sandra, my sisters. And then later on in the fourth grade, Mama, she got me involved in piano lessons. And then that evolved to where I was working with a lady from Burnell College in my hometown that was a concert pianist, and she got me a partial scholarship at the college. And so Eliza Feldman, my piano teacher, she was very strict. And at the time I thought she was too strict, but she really expected 150%, even if you didn't know the song, she expected you to give it everything you had. And then I went on from there to Alphas Lefebvre that had that same quality. Mm-hmm. It's like everything was excellence. You don't just halfway do things, and when you're rehearsing, you don't just halfway rehearse. You give it everything you've got. And then it evolved to Rex Nelon, who was to have the same qualities. And so I can say that, I start getting choked up because what great examples. I mean, Rex Nelon was very strict about, singing correct harmony. And, it's just, I can see how God just orchestrated these people in my life that were just a cut above. They did everything they did with passion, and they gave it everything they got. And I was under that influence for many years. And then, of course, when we started New River, I had Eldridge Fox, and Mickey Gamble there at the time Pinnacle Records, which has evolved into Horizon Records. But, and they saw this shred of talent, and signed New River on their record label and got us with Becky Simmons, right. and she booked our dates. And then, we had Tim Riley, who said, you need to book Karen, Peck, and New River, just everything you can. Let them open for us, for Gold City and Kingsman. And honestly, and it just keeps going. And I know I'm talking a lot, but
no. But people get tired of hearing me, Karen. They want to hear you.
And then that evolved over to working with the Harper Agency, Ed Harper, and then working with Ed Leonard. And, these people have been so influential in my life, and I will forever be grateful. But it all started when I was a little girl, and God called me to do this, and then just placed the most incredible people in my life that can be the greatest mentors, the greatest friends that I could ever have. And I'm extremely blessed. And honestly, I'm married to Ricky, my husband. We've been married 29 years. Last week was our 29th anniversary.
Congratulations.
But thank you. But Ricky has that same quality. Everything that Ricky does, he's passionate about, and he gives it everything he's got. And so I'm just very blessed to have a circle of people who are passionate about what they do. And honestly, if it hadn't been for all of those people that I've just named, I would not be standing here today. And I would not have been inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. And there are so many people that deserve that award. And for my name to be there, I am absolutely so grateful. And I know there's a lot of people that deserve it a whole lot more than I do. But I can tell you, I am so thrilled to have that honor.
Well, it's so well deserved, and we're so happy for you. And you're going in with some good groups of folks, the Stapler Singers and Greg Nelson, great music guy, recording guy, and Carmen in the contemporary world, which we've all heard about. Let me ask you a question that I've often wondered, because I know when you're young and you get on a bus for the first time, it's got to be kind of intimidating. And I know this girl is like a sister to you, but was it kind of difficult, or was it different getting on the bus with the Nelons for the first time and saying, okay, I'm singing with the Nelons. Now, this is Kelly and her dad's group. How do I fit in? How was that when you first joined the Nelons back in the day?
I will tell you, it was a dream come true for me, but I will tell you, I was so nervous that every bone and every muscle in my body, it shook. I mean, literally, I was that nervous because I was singing with my favorite group. I had a poster that they had signed and for me, and I had it on the side of my wall at home, on the wall beside my bed. And honestly, just about every night, I would look at that poster and say, God, if you can't put me with that group, will you put me with one just like them? and God put me with that group. But see, I had traveled with Todd Nelon, Rex's son, Kelly's brother, a year prior with Alphys Lefebvre and the Lefebvres. So actually, when my first night with the Nelons, Todd Nelon started playing bass guitar for the Rex Nelon Singers. So we had our very first night together with the Rex Nelon Singers, and we had traveled prior to with Alphys Lefebvre. So I knew Todd and I knew Kelly. Mm-hmm. And Rex, I had known them, really just from being in a part-time group around home and opening for them. And but to actually be on that bus I was out of my mind. I was so excited and so giddy. And y'all, and those of you that are listening that know me know that I really am a blonde. I am smarter than I appear, but I'm still blonde to the roots sometimes. I'm telling you. And so, and I'm silly now, all of these years later, but can you imagine, 37 years ago, I was absolutely just off the charts as far as being excited. I was coming on telling jokes. I was talking every minute. And so, but I was with my favorite group. And I'll tell you this, I felt like Cinderella at times because Kelly and Janet, they wore the most beautiful dresses you have ever laid your eyes on.
Yeah.
And so I was able to, whenever Janet left and Rex hired me, I could wear all of her the stage clothes. Mm-hmm. So, and at that time, we were wearing the same clothes. Kelly and I were wearing the same dresses.
Yeah.
So, and that was the style back then. Everybody just wore the same thing.
Who got to pick the dresses, Karen? Did you get to pick them or did Kelly get to pick them?
I think Kelly and Janet at the time, they would pick them out, and then Kelly most of the time did, but Kelly's got just impeccable taste.
Right.
I mean, I loved everything, but sometimes, both of us would say, "Oh gosh, we love this." Yeah. So, but I was so thrilled to be able to wear Janet's clothes and because I was a fan of Janet. Mm-hmm. I mean, Janet was the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
She was just, this incredible soprano singer and beautiful inside and out. Mm-hmm. And to be able to, to step in her shoes was that was tough. I have to say that was hard because I was not the vocalist that Janet Paschal was. And my strengths were I could hear parts well. Mm-hmm. I knew every song the Rex Nelon singers ever sang. So that's when I came with the Nelons, all they had to do was Rex would call any song and I knew my part. So I knew the songs, I knew everything they did. So that's one thing that I always that's impressive with me with this young generation. Like if we ever have someone audition mm-hmm. for the people that know the material. Right. And a lot of times when these guys will come in and they'll audition and they say, "I don't really know that song," that's a strike for me. That's an X right there because they don't want the job bad enough if they don't know my songs. And so anyway, so I'm always impressed for the ones that come in and they're prepared. So I was prepared, mm-hmm. To be there as far as the music was concerned, but there were a lot of things that I had to learn when I got there because they were just a cut above. They were just fantastic singers. And, I thought that I was pretty good when I got there, but after singing with Kelly and Jerry and Rex and Rodney Swain, I thought, man, I'm going to have to work. I'm going to have to work hard to keep up with them.
I got to tell you a funny story because I sang with Rodney myself at church a couple of weeks. I guess it was 6 months ago. Rodney and I were in a room together, and we ended up singing. Rodney's in his 70s now, but Rodney is still. I said, "Rodney, let's just wing it. We know this. We can do it by the back of our hand." Rodney was, "Nope, we've got to do it this way, this way, this way, this way." And here I'm the guy that likes to, just throw it out there and swing it. And Rodney was, "Nope, we got to do it. Doop, 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 doop." And that's that Rex Nelon influence that was put on you guys.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That is. And I'm telling you, Rodney was always a joy to travel with. He was always the same. He was fun. He was just such a encourager and, energetic and just consider him a dear friend to this day. And that's the thing I love about Kelly and Todd. And, they're like my sister and my brother. Yeah. And we've kept in touch over the years. And even if we haven't seen each other in a while, we pick right back up when we talk. Or if we see each other, Kelly and I, we text just about every day or every other day. And we still stay in touch. But we just have so many memories. When you travel for almost 10 years, I was with them. Right. And when you travel that long with someone, you know them, they know you, they know your stories. And like Kelly, and I just sang with her on a song, last year called You Can't Make Old Friends. Mm-hmm. And it was, and that's the truth. You can't make old friends. But I will say this, I never take for granted where I came from and the doors that were opened for me in order for me to be able to have my own family group now, and the ministry we've had now for 27 years. We've had New River that long. Wow. But I would not have New River if it were not for Alphas Lefebvre and Lefebvre's and for my 10 years with the Nelons. And so I'm just forever grateful. I mean, honestly, I'll forever be grateful to Kelly and Todd for, for sharing their dad, and sharing their ministry with so many great people. And, and because of them, there are a lot of great ministries out there that, it's just an extension and an expansion of... It's an elite club, so to speak. Saved.
It's an elite club, so to speak, is what I tell folks.
Well, and the thing... And the thing about it is, I mean, we could have all stayed together and it would have been awesome and wonderful, but we've all branched out. And because of that, more people can be saved and more people can be encouraged. And that's why we do what we do. Even last week, my mom was talking about, saying, Mama, pray for me on my induction speech. And Mama said, well, you'll do what you always do, because when you stand up there, Karen's not going to be standing up there. You're standing up there for God. You're not standing for yourself. And that's the truth, because honestly, the Lord is why we do what we do. And I've been so incredibly blessed to be able to do what I love to do. Yeah. And I'm so thankful for that. And the older I get, Darren, I think the more I love it, because I know that that I've got more years behind me than ahead. But I just want God to continue to put me where He wants to be so I can be a better influence for Him wherever He wants me to be.
No doubt. Karen, you had a great opportunity a few years back, and I'll touch on this, that to be in a movie, Joyful Noise with Dolly Parton and Queen Latifah. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about. And, let me say this. In our recent interview with Jason Crabb, Jason talked about how when he deals with folks in the secular arena and that sort of thing, that their respect for gospel artists is tremendous. Did you find this? I mean, we all know this from Dolly. Did you find this from Queen Latifah and the folks in that movie when you got to play in it?
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, that was one of the greatest experiences of my career as well. I had gotten a missed call on my cell phone from New York City, and it was a casting agency. Yeah. And they were, telling me that they were asking if I would be interested in a small part in the movie that featured Queen Latifah and Dolly Parton. Well, at first I thought it was a joke, because I do have friends. I do have people that would do that to me. And so, but then when I called the number back, it was legit. Yeah. And so within 30 minutes, they sent me the script, and it all happened so fast. I didn't even have a clue what I was doing. But then they gave me this, kind of these speaking lines, and then I had to record a song. And so then when I got to the recording studio in Atlanta, I was able to work with a great, with a great producer, and so we recorded the song. Then when I went for my taping, everybody, they were so respectful and so kind, and it was wonderful. And then when we went for we did a few premieres, and they flew Ricky and me, my husband Ricky and me, and they flew us out to LA for the Walk of Fame right over there in Hollywood at the Chinese Theater, and that's where the premiere was. And honestly, for one day, I said this, I was Cinderella for a day. I've never seen anything like it. I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I had a team of people that, were taking me here and there, and, and then afterwards we went to an after party, and I had a great conversation, probably 15 or 20 minutes, with Queen Latifah about the Lord. And so just an incredible conversation about Jesus. And then I had a great conversation with Dolly Parton that night. And, and it was all about, the Lord and they were hoping, they said if just one person is touched from this movie and from this soundtrack, then it was worth every effort. So anyway, I had a great experience being in Joyful Noise, and also I just had great respect, and I had mutual respect, because you see these people
right.
that are movie stars, and and you just wonder, how are they going to be, because I wasn't expecting them to be that nice, because they were all just they all were so nice. They talked like just you and I are talking right now, and it was just great.
Karen, you've had some great songs. I mean, 4 Days Late, just on and on. Great songs. What is your favorite song of Karen Peck and New River? If you had to pick just one each night that you get to sing, what song do you find yourself feeling? And before I ask you that question, let me tell you the one for me. And on a personal note, when you cut the song a year or two ago, whenever it was, everybody's going through something. I cling to that song because guess what? No matter where we are in life, no matter who we meet, everybody is actually going through something. My daughter, 22 years old, just fought cancer and won. But you know what? She's going through something. The folks we see on the street are going through something. Zig Ziglar said 80% of the people you talk to are hurting. But what song is it that Karen sings that she finds she's got to sing every night?
Well, I would say this, Darren. I'm very passionate about everybody's going through something. Thank you for saying that, because that song is true, and it relates to everybody.
Yeah.
And I guess if I had to choose a song, that one song would be 4 Days Late.
Yeah.
And I will have to always probably say that song, because I've seen how it has affected so many lives, but how it's affected my life. And the first time I ever heard that song, Aaron Wilburn was singing it sitting on a stool, playing his acoustic guitar in Meridian, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And when he came off the stage, I said, Aaron, you have just sung about me. And I will never forget the first time I heard it, and how it was so, it made such an impression on me. And I think to this day, 18 years later, I could probably say that's my all-time favorite song. Nice.
What's the future hold for Karen Peck and New River? I know you got to go and get ready. We're doing this right before the GMA Hall of Fame Awards. We've robbed her. I'm not going to tell you folks that she asked if we were going to be on camera or not, because we're not. We're doing a podcast. But anyway, Karen, I'll just pick at you like that, because if Todd was on here with me, he would say something a lot worse. And I got to poke at Todd, because he's one of my best friends, and I talk to him every day. But what should we expect from Karen Peck going forward?
Well, I would say, first of all, can I say so? Todd Nelon's
You can say anything you want about Todd. Matter of fact, hold on. Before you go there, okay, Mr. Political Correct, always trying to be nice, Todd Nelon. Okay, so I'm going to take a personal privilege here. Tell me a story about Todd Nelon, Karen, that the world needs to hear, that the world doesn't know about.
Well, I will tell y'all this. Everybody thinks Todd Nelon's this sweet, innocent, shy man. He is mean as a snake. He is the most mischievous person you will ever meet. And he's always playing jokes on me and tortured me at times. He's a mess. But I'll have to say, he's one of my dearest friends.
Mine too.
And but he's fun. We've had more. I will say that Todd's the instigator.
Yeah.
And one time, the story that almost got me fired was we were up north, and Todd was really bad about trying to get me tickled on stage. And Rex would always get mad at me when I got tickled on stage. So one night I was about to sing Amazing Grace a cappella, and Todd sneezed so loud that everybody in that audience, and me included, we all jumped out of our skin. And then just from the initial shock of it all and how everybody, kind of gasped, and jumped, and it caught them off guard, I was hysterical. So I was trying to sing Amazing Grace a cappella, completely hysterical with my voice shaking. And Rex got so mad that he almost fired me that night. I thought he was going to put me off the bus. And so it was awful. It was terrible. So Todd was the one that honestly, the only time that Rex Nelon would ever get that mad at me is when I would get tickled, and it was always Todd's fault. So that's my story about Todd.
Let me give you a similar story, and I know this isn't a Todd Nelon show, but heck, we're going to talk about it just for a second. I coached baseball against Todd, okay, back in the day, Little League, okay? Uh-huh. My son and Jordan was the same age, and I know we're getting a little personal here, so if you're in Ireland and listening to this, just hear our personal griefs here for just a second. But Todd coached another team. Well, Todd would always pull underhanded things like some coaches do. And he would always be sneaky about it, where I was always vocal about my underhanded stuff, and I would get in trouble by the board, and Todd would just sit over and smile like nothing was going on. And he was doing the same exact thing, Karen. So I can feel you. I know where you're coming from.
That's Todd.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him the other day.
You have to watch him. He's a mess.
I asked him the other day. I said, Todd, we're doing a show on bus stories before long. And I need some info. Give me some funny bus stories that I can call these people and get. He said, well, you can always call Martin Cook and ask him about, Archie Watkins and ask him about Muhammad Ali getting on the bus. But I can't tell you any about us because we had a bunch of women on our bus. Come on, Todd. You know what goes on. Lord have mercy. That's just the way Todd is. But Karen, thank you.
He's a mess. But thank you. And you know what? But I'll have to say, Todd is fun. Yeah. He's one of the most. Anytime Todd Nelon's around, you're gonna have a good time because he is the life of the party. Yeah. But I will say this: the future of Karen, Peck, and New River. Yeah. We just want to be where the Lord is. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we are excited about God opening doors, and we are. My son Matthew's getting married in June, so so I'm gaining a daughter. And she's going to travel with us. Yep. We have our homecoming coming up on Father's Day weekend. We'd love for y'all to come and be with us. Abraham Productions have partnered with Karen, Peck, and New River. And so Friday and Saturday night in June 14th and 15th, we would love for y'all, or is it 15th and 16th? It's Friday and Saturday of Father's Day weekend. Okay. The Gospel Through Girls and Guitars tour will be there on Friday night, which are High Road, Emily Ann Roberts, the Tallies, Karen, Peck, and New River. Saturday will be the Wisnants, the Wilmington Celebration Choir and Tribute Quartet, and Karen, Peck, and New River perform both nights. That's in Dahlonega, Georgia. You can check it out on our website. Then we're going to Ireland in the fall, and then at the end of the year, we're going back to Israel. And we sang 4 days late at Lazarus' tomb last year, and we're hoping to do the same thing this year. So anyways, we have a lot of great things coming up, but the main thing is we just want to be a witness for the Lord and just keep carrying the gospel.
Well, Karen, all I need you to do is promise me you will come back on before you go to Ireland, because we have a ton of listeners in Ireland and the United Kingdom. They love gospel music and Christian music over there. I mean, they really do. If you saw the numbers, you would be blown away. And
well, they need to come and see us in September. Yes. Check out our website to see where it is. Yep. We would love for them to come.
Yes, we will get you back on in August, early September, something like that, and make sure everybody knows about it. Fair enough. Well, Karen, thank you for the day. Jeff just texted me and said, Darren, there was a wreck in front of our building. The power's off. I'm sorry. So if you can give Jeff, next time Jeff Steele wants to pitch you a song, you can tell Jeff, you wouldn't even get on the air and interview me on the podcast. So, just give Jeff a hard time.
I know, but Darren, you have to remember, though, Jeff Steele and also Earl Galloway will always be dear to me because they pitched me Whisper Prayers, and that's been a really good song. So you know what? Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I'm just forever grateful to Jeff and, for his songwriting, and Jeff and Sherry both. I love them so much and appreciate them so much. Great people. But, Darren, thank you for this interview, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Yes, ma'am. And tell Jeff that I missed him, but I'll catch y'all the next time together. together, and we'll all do another interview and talk about other stuff.
No problem. Hey, friends, before we start SGNP today, I've got to tell you a little story. The life of, and it'll take us about 60 seconds, so just bear with me for just a second. The life of being involved in media isn't normal. There's no such thing as 9 to 5. On top of that, I got a daughter graduating college, a son up in North Carolina working, and commercials to produce, and a wife. My wife likes to spend time with me, I think I heard. The bottom line is that everything I do requires energy, focus, and staying in the right mood. Thankfully, I was introduced to this company, Brick House Nutrition, and their amazing product, Dawn to Dusk. Dawn to Dusk is an extended release energy supplement, which lasts up to 10 hours, increases energy, improves moods, and stimulates your brain. I need that. Unlike coffee, which I don't drink, there's no crash. I drink tea. It's healthy and physician formulated and has no side effects whatsoever. All the ingredients and information are available for you right there at brickhouse.com. That's brickhouse.com. And right now, listeners to SGNP, Southern Gospel News podcasters, my listeners and Jeff's listeners, get 10% off a 1-month supply. But only when you use the offer code SGNP at checkout. Go to brickhouse.com. Buy the product Dawn to Dusk. Type in SGNP at checkout and get 10% off. So if you're tired of wasting money on 7 cups of coffee a day and want something new, or just 1 cup of coffee at those fancy coffee places equals about 7 sometimes, you want something that'll give you a boost, enhance your mood, increase your focus, this is for you. Get 10% with the offer code SGNP at checkout when you go to brickhouse.com. That's brickhouse.com. And hey, thanks for listening to SGNP.
Karen, I am so proud of you. I'm proud of all of your accomplishments. I'm proud of what you've done for the Lord, and I'm so proud that you're one of my best friends in the whole world, and I could not be more thankful for the Gospel Music Association to induct you into the Hall of Fame. There is no one more deserving than you. I love you so much. Congratulations.
And welcome back to SGMP. Darren Sutherland and the good doctor, Jeff Steele. Jeff, you ever wondered why I call you the good doctor?
I don't even care. As long as you say good, I'm fine.
You know, I told my wife the other day, and I probably shouldn't tell this on a live podcast, but I'll tell it anyway. I said, sometimes Jeff and my conversations are more entertaining off the air when we're planning stuff than they are when they're on the air. But unfortunately, if we put off the air what needs to go. Anyway, I'll just stop it at that. But you and I talk a lot, and we work a lot on this, and we're trying to get better. And we want folks to know that we love what we do. Talking about what we love what we do, Karen mentioned a song that you guys wrote for. And I'll let you tell the folks about that song. It went number 1 and been influential in Karen's career.
Well, I'll tell you, it's odd to say this. When we wrote the song "Whispered Prayers," I knew we had something. I mean, sometimes as a songwriter, you just know when it's finished and you're singing it. I always tell people, you could sit out in your front yard and sing it with a ukulele, and it's still going to be a big song, just because of the way the Spirit of God is all over it. And I'm not ashamed to say that. We write songs for a lot of different reasons and a lot of different times, but some songs just got Holy Ghost dripping all over them, and this one did. And I was very fortunate. Jim Brady's wife actually cut the demo on it and did a masterful job. Yeah. As a matter of fact, there are people that have heard her demo who believe it's a record. She just did that good. And Karen heard it and immediately had to have it, which is great for me because I've been trying to write her a song for umpteen years. And just one of those songs that just had something all over it. And thank God she did such a great job on it. She called me, I think she called me from Israel, and told me that she had just sung that song. Oh, my goodness, I wish I could remember the place she'd sung it. She may have told you. But she she'd sung it at some special biblical site over there that was mentioned in the song. And she was just thrilled about that. And then she sent me a video of it, actually, off of somebody's iPhone.
Nice.
You can use these iPhones for anything now. And I was so happy to hear it. And they still sing it a lot. It's one of Bill Gaither's favorite songs. He loves that song.
You know,
he loved On the Road to Emmaus, too, and he ended up cutting it.
Sure did. My favorite Karen Peck song is one of her newer songs, Jeff. And it was, I think, last year or the year before. I can't remember the exact date. But it's titled Everybody's Going Through Something. Everybody's going through something. And let me say this. I'm going to take a personal privilege here. You know this story. A lot of people out there don't. But everybody is going through something. My daughter was starting her senior year of college this past fall. My daughter, Kendall, 22 years old, goes in for a checkup, finds out she has stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. Her senior year in college. Jeff, glory be to God, and I don't go this direction many times on these podcasts, but let me say this. She graduates tomorrow. That's Saturday. This show comes out on Friday. She graduates tomorrow. Saturday, she'll be walking across that stage. She's 100% cancer-free from Hodgkin's lymphoma. Gone through 12 rounds of chemo, finished school, and that song, the whole time she's been going through that cancer treatment, that song has ran in my ear. Everybody's going through something. And if you're going through something, you might as well go through something with him. So whatever you're going through, folks, you know what? You can cling to that song. It's a great song. Go on YouTube, listen and download that song, or go on Karen's website and buy it by Whispered Prayer, or by the song Karen talked about, Jeff. And you know this song well because your buddy Aaron Wilburn wrote it, 4 Days Late.
Aaron is such a great guy. I'll tell you something about Aaron. I know it's Karen's show, but she talks about Aaron when she sings it, and she actually heard it backstage one night when he was doing it. He walked off stage, and she said, I've got to have that song. And Aaron Wilburn is one of the most spiritual people I know. I've had him in my church a couple times to sing and speak. He does a lot of both when he's on the platform. Mm-hmm. Aaron Wilburn is one of the few people who's actually said some things during his presentation that just stuck with me. I mean, hammered me in the face, and it just stuck with me. He is a great guy, very spiritual, and it doesn't surprise me that he came up with a song like that. That's the way he thinks. He always thinks in a very spiritual vein, and it shows in his writing. We will load all 3 of these songs on our Facebook page, and you can go on and listen to them there, too. One of the things I thought about 4 Days Late, Jeff, it's very unconventional. And when I mean unconventional, it's not your typical ballad chorus. It's more like, it's like your song, God Kept His Promise. It's a story within a story. Like yeah, it's like a story within a story. You know, it starts off, I mean, how many songs do you hear that starts off, the news came to Jesus, and I mean, just like exasperated, you know, as he starts, and you're thinking, boom, and then all of a sudden it just explodes. And I think that's what makes it great, is it's so different, yet so perfect and so timely. There's actually a couple of explosion points in that song. I mean, it's just a great song. Yeah. So make sure you hear that. Karen, congratulations once again from me personally on making the Gospel Music Hall of Fame 2018. This isn't the Southern Gospel Music Hall of Fame, folks. This is the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. She was inducted on the same night with Greg Nelson, a former radio executive and record executive with Sparrow Records. The Stapler Singers, some of Black Gospel's historic folks out of your home state, Mississippi. Why am I saying Memphis? Memphis may be a state on its own. We could say that. Who knows? I don't know if it's Tennessee, Arkansas, or Mississippi. Staple Singers. That's right. And then the contemporary music star Carmen was put in there the same night. So great night for Karen and great night for gospel music as a whole. And that's why we always say our call is this right here, Jeff, SGNP, where it's all about the gospel. It's not just about
one thing. I think when we talk about all about the gospel, when you listen to our show that we had the other day with Brooke Taylor, a.k.a. Shannon Fields of Facing the Giants, folks listen to that show, they heard a little bit about the gospel. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, let me say congratulations also to Karen Peck. I remember when we came back, the Steels came back in 2014. I'd been off pastoring a church for about 10 years and was fully content to just stay there until I was 65 and retire. We came back with a song, But God, and I joke and tell people, I said, we'd have had a number one song, except Karen Peck had that revival song out there, and she beat us by a few points. And I remember the day it happened. This happened to me twice. We've missed a number one by just a few points. And that day I picked up the phone immediately. As soon as we heard the news that we didn't quite make it, immediately I picked up the phone and called Karen and told her how happy I was for her. And I meant it because she's been such a good friend for so many years. And recently I had with the Guardians, and I immediately called my 37-year friend, John Darren Rousey, who wrote that song and sang it. And I said, hey, John, man, what a great song. Congratulations to you. So I love songwriters. I love gospel singers. And I surely love Karen Peck. She is such a Karen Peck Gooch. She's such a wonderful lady of style, grace, class, talent, not necessarily in that order. And I cannot say congratulations hard enough for your induction into the Gospel Music Association Hall of Fame.
That's it. Hey, want to remind you folks, and you may have heard our commercials around the country that's being aired on radio throughout the country that talks about SGNP, the Southern Gospel News Project. Well, it's the Brad Steele Project is what we call it. And Brad Steele is Jeff's son. He's a great writer, great singer in his own right. He's also Jeff's minister of music at his church, Redeeming Grace Church there in Coleman, Alabama. But the way we use Brad and the way we promote Brad is this. Anything technical on this show that we need, from building a Skype to teaching Jeff to download something, we say it's the Brad Steele Project. So when we're referring to the Brad Steele Project, we're referring to you. You don't know how to download your podcast onto your phone yet? It's real simple. You hit your podcast icon. If you don't know what the icon is, find somebody under 30. Tell them, I want to see my podcast icon. They'll pull it up for you. Then hit the search bar, search out Southern Gospel News Podcast. Southern Gospel News Podcast, okay? Once you do that, you look at all the stuff, you hit subscribe, and guess what? Every time a new show comes out, you'll be a part of it, and you will get that podcast downloaded directly into your telephone, your iPad, your computer, your Android, your iPhone, wherever you want it. So remember that, the Brad Steele Project. After you download the Brad Steele Project, go onto the Steele's website, go onto the Steele's YouTube page, download some songs by Brad like Prodigal and things like this, and get that taken care of. Is that easy enough, Jeff?
Man, sure sounds complicated to me, but it's easy.
It's real easy. Hand you, and when I say the Brad Steele Project, hand the phone to somebody under 30. Let them do that, and they'll figure it out for you. They will figure it out for you. Jeff, it's been another great show, another timely show. Monday for our Tuesday show, we're doing, and this is going to be a fun show, and I'm going to go ahead and announce it now, because I want everybody listening this weekend to talk about it. Share this show with Karen. Share it with all your friends, industry folks that are out riding buses this weekend. Listen to this great show with Karen. Share it with your friends. Pat Karen on the back. Tell her you love her. Tell her thank you. But Monday, we're doing a show that's coming out Tuesday, and we're finishing it up Monday. We're talking about people in the Christian music industry, particularly gospel music, Southern gospel music, that have had incredible influence on the music, but perhaps you've never heard of them. If you're an industry person, you know who they are, but if you're probably a fan, you may have never heard of them. And we're talking to my good friend and yours, Maurice Templeton, former publisher, man that helped gospel music grow greatly in the 70s in the 80s on into the 90s. I can't remember if he got into the 2000s or not. I don't think so. But anyway, Maurice Templeton coming up Tuesday. Going to be fun, Jeff.
Quite a singer, too.
Quite a singer. We'll ask him. We'll make sure we ask him about that. Jeff, got one more question for you before we go. Go. Man, you got to build this up a little bit better.
That was the build-up. Go.
Jeff, what's wrong with living right anyway?
Not one thing.
We'll see you next week right here on SGNP. Share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mama and them. We'll talk to you soon.
SGNP is excited you chose to listen today. If you'd kindly leave a remark and rating in the podcast remarks section, we surely would appreciate it. Please share with a friend or family member. Look for us on Facebook, Twitter, and our new website, SouthernGospelNewsPodcast.com. And remember the Kia Summer Nights concert series, all 100% free, coming to a town near you. For more information on the concert series or to advertise your products, services, concert event, or new project on SGNP and reach a 100% guaranteed number of people in your area, call Tim Newton at 770-874-3200 or email him today, tnewton@bgadgroup.com. Let us geo-target our ads for you, something radio nor magazine can do.
SGNP is brought to you by Toccoa Falls College in Toccoa Falls, Georgia. For more information on TFC, call 706-886-7299 or visit them online at tfc.edu. That's tfc.edu. Since 1907, TFC, glorifying God through seeking and developing leaders who will impact the world for Jesus Christ.